Alright. Hello, what's up guys? Thanks for joining me in my video here. Titanfall 2 multiplayer sucks. I don't want to say it, but I still feel this way. When I first played it, and well actually, real quick, the gameplay that we're watching here, that you'll see here, is by TBNR Frags on YouTube. I don't have any recordings of my own for multiplayer-wise. Well, I do on Twitch, but nothing. Anyways. I wanted to make this video because at the end of my review of the campaign, which was freaking amazing, I loved the campaign anyways, thought it was epic. At the end of my video of my review of the campaign, I said I'll probably, I'll be jumping into multiplayer and I'll have fun with it and all that stuff. And I can have fun with Titanfall 2's multiplayer. It's just after part 1, it is a major disappointment. I still feel the same way I did when I made the video about why I canceled my pre-order. I mean, it's pretty sad. A lot of it is to do with the new design of stuff. The way they wanted to make their maps laned. And I remember when I read that interview, and I read it for the previous video, if you saw it, where they want it to be more laned and all this stuff. So a lot of times, you'll be running around these big maps, and there'll be windows everywhere, but they're windows you can't go in and out of. They're just there for looks, basically. There's a few windows you can shoot through, not all of them actually. It's really funny. There are specific windows you can shoot enemies through, and then there are other windows you can't shoot through. So it's really limiting. Coming from Titanfall 1, where it was just complete freedom everywhere, inside of buildings, outside of buildings, up, down, everywhere you played. In the multiplayer for Titanfall 1 was just complete freedom. The flanking, just everything. And Titanfall 2 does improve a lot of things. It has a lot of really cool aspects to it. I love the new weapons, the new Titans. Although I would prefer to be able to pick a specific Titan with its weapons. I would love to use the Ronin with a different weapon, or even though the Ronin's actually my favorite mech, my favorite Titan. But if I could give it a different gun, I would. Kind of reminds me of hell's it called in part 1? I actually just played part 1 the other day. I was playing Titanfall 2's multiplayer the other day, and then I was like, I'm just gonna go play part 1. And part 1 is way more fun. It just really is. The Strider, Ronin is like the Strider, except even less cool. Everything about Titanfall 2 is it's not as good. Titanfall 2's multiplayer is about half as good as part 1's. Maybe around there, if we're pushing it, I guess. It's about half as good as Titanfall 1's multiplayer. Just due to the design of the maps, and it's just really disappointing. It's still disappointing. So I wanted to make sure I made this video just to let you know. I mean, this is just me, of course. Plenty of people love it. I don't know. It's the same. The people that love part 2 apparently didn't love part 1 as much as I did. I don't know. I don't want to get into that, because I have seen people say that, I played part 1 and I'd like 2 more and all this stuff. And I don't understand how. I don't get it. I don't understand how you go. Apparently people like lanes, I guess. They like to be able to have campfests and shit, because that's what Titanfall 2 is. Compared to part 1, I mean, there's a lot of campfesty stuff. And when I initially had played some of the newer maps that were not in the beta test, I had said these maps are really amazing. And I think most of it was just the look of it. They're very nice looking maps. They're beautiful. But the longer the longer I play Titanfall 2's multiplayer, the more I hate it. And it shouldn't be like that. It just shouldn't be like that. But you discover exactly how there's a map that is literally a donut. It's just a giant circle. And my favorite thing about it, though, is the first time I played it, I didn't know what the hell was happening. I was like, I just joined this match. It was already a little bit into it. I just joined this match, and immediately just a camp fest, dying to my spawn point, and then walking 5 yards away from the spawn point and just enemies everywhere. And I was like, what? And come to find out, that's the way the map is built. It's a giant circle with a couple little tunnels here and there, but it's still a giant circle. There's no going through the middle. The little tunnels are to the side of the corner circle shape. It's just nonsense. So that's what it is. This was what they wanted to do with the new Titanfall. I don't know why. The only thing I can guess is that they wanted to. I said this before. I think they really wanted to try to keep the COD or Battlefield players that they didn't get or keep in part 1. Yeah. So they've lost me. And I'll still play it because I own the game, and I'm very grateful for having picked up a copy. I truly am grateful for having won a copy of it, you know, especially because I got to play that campaign and I loved it. The campaign was seriously super cool. I've beaten it twice. I'm still working on my third playthrough, but I'll be taking that slower. I got other games to play. Yeah, just the biggest thing is this is all the same stuff that I said before from playing the beta, when I was playing the maps in the beta. And when I first played the new maps, I was impressed. They're bigger, you know, there's more to them. But at the same time, the more you play it, the more you see that you can only go this, or this, you know, left, right, and middle. Same lane shit. A little bit bigger maps, you know, but it's the same lane thing. So it ends up being a campfest. Once people learn those lanes, they're just sniping the right spots, and you know. And I'm not like, I'm not like fully against camping. What I'm against is not being able to play the way I want to play because of campers. You understand that, right? Like, I mean, I don't want to have to snipe. I don't want to have to camp. I want to run a gun. That's what I can totally do in part 1. Totally do. Freedom of everything and still have fun. You know, that map is really cool. But, yeah, I mean, there are some cool maps. There are some nice designs in this, but it really is laned up. And like I said, a big thing is when you go in those maps and there's a bunch of windows that are just closed. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous how many windows are like, I can't go through this window, like, and it's all because they're keeping you lane. They're making you go this direction. You can't go where you want to go. And in part 1, it was nothing like that. I'm telling you, you never saw a camp fest in part 1. Never. Campers, snipers, sure, yes. Not a camp fest. Not people in one building sitting there freaking shooting at people in another building, and it's just back and forth, you know, and it's just nonsense. Other than that, I did want to give these guys props. I mean, you know, because there is a lot of beauty to the game, but that's just the whole map design is what really pisses me off the most, and that's what takes out the enjoyment for me, you know. I'm like, and I know I'm not the only one. But I know plenty of people like this game. Another thing is the customization. Actually, there is a lot of customization. It's just funny to me, and some people probably like it, but for me, the customization, although there's a lot of choices, like probably 100 unlocks for different skins and all that stuff, but it's basically like, just as an example, because I didn't actually write it down and get every perfect number and stuff, but as an example, it's basically like 5 different skins total and like 20 different colors for that decal, and they all look normal and plain and just whatever. Like, nothing's flashy, nothing's neon and glowing and really cool looking, you know. As I said this before, I remember I think it was my campaign review. At the end of my campaign review, I got into a little bit into the multiplayer, and Uncharted 4 has better weapon skins than Titanfall 2, so I'm just like, what? You know, and that's kind of what it is, and it's cool that there is a variety, and there's a lot of them. It's just none of them make me want it. Every time I see a new unlock, I'm like, I guess I'll equip this, you know? That's exactly just like, well, okay, I got it, you know? I'm like, I don't care. There's nothing I'm looking at there. There's banner cards. I also said this before, too, at the end of my campaign review. The banner cards are better looking. And then, again, it's the same thing with those. It's the same card, but with, like, a new animation to it. So, like, 4 or 5 different animations over the same exact banner. There's lots of them. I mean, there is a lot of stuff that you can unlock and get and stuff, which is cool. It's just, especially when it comes to weapons, the decals are just so plain and boring. They really are. And I don't want to offend the artist, because it's not it's just, I don't know. And it's not like the art is bad or anything. It's just like, what am I unlocking these crap? Like, I don't understand why I would unlock like hundreds of boring looking weapon decals, man. I don't know. I'm sure some people like them. I don't know. I don't. Oh gosh. I don't. Let me see if I have anything written down. I basically, I mean, most of my complaints were. Oh yeah, I did have a little bit of running. One thing I forgot to mention. While there's laning and everything, another thing is the bots. Now this is what's really funny to me, is because My biggest complaint of part 1 was like 80% of my kills were bot kills. At the same time, I still said, look, it's still fun. You know, I can have 6 pilot kills and then 40 freaking AI kills, and I'm fine with that because the game was fun. I would prefer to have more pilot kills. It's not, it's just the way the maps are designed and everything. You run into more bots than you do players, no matter what, right? They're big maps, the Titans are the focus, and that's why the maps are big. You need big maps for the Titans to be able to maneuver around and stuff. And that's what happened. So, but this problem is, the same thing is in part 2, except for there's not enough bots, okay? And this is the stupidest thing ever to me. There's so many things that went wrong with this, because you would think they would do nothing but improve on part 1, but they didn't. They changed it completely. They went backwards. It's just a step backwards. A big step backwards. A lot of little small steps forwards, but overall, in the general direction, overall, it's just a big step backwards. Like I said, I really like the new weapons, the new Titans. You know, I would prefer to... I already went over that. I don't want to repeat myself so many times. I repeat myself a lot, sorry. But not enough bots. So what happens is you're running around this map, this laned map, with nothing to kill. Because they're big maps, and there's not enough bots. So it's a little bit less as far as like 80, instead of 80% of my kills are bot kills, like 50% of them. Or, well, no, not 60, I didn't actually do the math. I should have wrote this down. It's not as heavy on AI because there's less AI, but you're still getting the same amount of pilot kills. It's the same thing. You're still getting a smaller amount of pilot kills because the maps are kind of big. So it just feels more empty, right? The maps just feel more empty. There's more running around with nothing to do. You know, and I totally can agree with people. The bots are basically fun. But while the bots were way super fodder in part 1, they're actually way better in part 2. That is one of the major things I love about what they did in part 2 was the bots. They have different levels of bots. Like there's different bots have different hit points. You know, the grunts are still super easy to kill, but the Spectre is much harder. And you can hack them now. You couldn't hack them in the beta, but you can hack them out. And the only reason I found this out was because teammate, I didn't notice he was hacking one until after I killed it. While I was just running. I saw my teammate, and I thought he was attacking a Spectre, and I killed it. And then I realized, wait, he was hacking that thing. So I was like, what? And I went up to another Spectre. When I found one, I was like, holy crap, you can hack them now. I didn't even know that because you couldn't do it in the beta. And but yeah, now it's really cool. You can hack Spectres again, which is nice. But there's different versions, like different levels of bots. There's elite ones, you know, and there's big giant like half Titan ones, and that is really cool. I love that they have different levels of bots. That's neat. That is a really cool upgrade. Very cool. Because you know, basically in part 1, Spectres and Grunts were pretty much as easy to kill. You know, Spectres were tiny bit better as far as like AI controlled opponents and stuff, but it was all pretty easy. But this one, they actually have, just giving them more health makes it a little bit tougher. They also, I don't know if the AI is that much better as far as like, you know, them trying to kill you and stuff. You can get killed by bots. I've been killed by some bots. So I think they're called Reapers or Reavers. They're the big chunky robot looking dudes. But I definitely like that. I definitely like the new bot system. There's newer, different enemies and stuff in between the pilots and all that. But really just not enough bots, and it's stupid to say that because, you know, when you play multiplayer, I want to kill players, but like I said, the thing about it is when you run around these big maps with nothing to kill, for me it's boring. I don't want to run around for 2 minutes like trying to find an enemy, you know, like literally 2 to 5 minutes. It just depends on how the match is going. It depends on, you know, just there's multiple factors that go into that, but you can run around for 2 to 5 minutes without a single like interaction. So yeah, so it's dumb to complain about not enough bots, but that's you know, that's one of my complaints, because 1 was fun. 1 had the same issue too. Sometimes, you know, you could clear the map entirely of bots and then be running around, but it wasn't as bad as part 2. And like I said, you really are getting the same amount of pilot kills, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit more. It really depends. Of course, this is the same thing. It depends on the match. It depends on how well things are going, how well your team is doing, how just multiple factors. I mean, even part 1, I've said this before, your average pilot kill, and this is something I see with all players, no matter what, you look at the scoreboards at the end of every match, the average kills of pilots would be between like 6 and 10. there's not a lot of pilot kills, player kills in between a match. It's not bad either because the game is fun. It's still the same thing in part 2, a little bit more, maybe an average closer to 10, right? Instead of 6, your average is closer to 10. Of course, you can push 20 to 30 if the match is going really damn good. You can push that kind of kill count, but it's still, you know, pretty low. So I don't know, man. I don't think they're going to be keeping their Call of Duty and Battlefield players that they didn't keep in part 1 and part 2. I don't think they will. I hope they do for their sake. At the same time, I don't know. I don't care, but I hope they do for their sake. I really do love the work, a lot of the stuff that they've done with this game. But I'm also extremely unhappy with a lot of the stuff. So the boosts are really cool. I like a lot of the anything not to do with the map design, right? The map design is my number one. Bleh. Just bleh. Bleh. Map design. That's mostly the limitation of the map design. It's the lanes and then the lack of freedom to go wherever you want. You know, so you're forced into campfest. You're just forced into it, you know. And of course, it doesn't make every match a campfest, okay? You know, duh. All right, I hope you understand that much, right? You know, it's just in general. There's way more campfests in this due to the lane control and just so much blocked off. How many windows can you block, man? Like, seriously, why is that window even there? For looks. It looks pretty having a window there. You know? like this dude just jumped through a window. But I remember this map too. There are plenty of windows where you can't jump through. But this is probably one of the better maps as far as like freedom. Yeah, I mean, you know. There's you know, you have to play. It's like the longer I play, the more I hate it, and I will still play it. I will still go play it when I want to have some Titanfall fun. You know, it's just one. I'd rather play one. I'd still rather play part 1, and I just did it the other day. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I forget. I played Titanfall 2 for like an hour, and then I played Titanfall 1 for like 2 or 3 hours. I was loving it, man. It was so much more fun too. It really was. The movement for everything, even the Titans was better. Like, well, especially the Strider. I mean, you know, it's crazy. The Ronin in part 2 is supposed to be the most mobile Titan, and he is the most mobile Titan in Titanfall 2, comparatively speaking. But the Ronin sucks. If you put the Strider versus the Ronin, good luck, Ronin. Later, dude. Yeah. Although the Ronin's damage is amazing. Like Ronin's damage, he dies so fast, but his damage is crazy ridiculous. Although, you know, so is the North Star. The North Star does excellent damage. Scorch does excellent damage too, but his is a little more tricky. You know, you gotta basically trap people with Scorch to get some major damage done. But he can wreck stuff. North Star is surprised. I'm not a big fan of sniping, but North Star is the sniping Titan, and she is really her damage is fucking nuts. The way hers works is as long as you're scoped, you charge up your weapon. You can do regular single shots, which is perfect for pilots. Like if you're aiming at AI bots or pilots, you don't charge up your weapon, just snipe them. You treat it like a regular gun. But when you're going against Titans, you charge it all the way up. Oh man, that sucker will tear a Titan to pieces. Like 3 shots, man. It's crazy. It depends on the Titan too, of course. I forget which one. I think Scorch is one of them, but there's like 2 of the 6 Titans. 2 of them are like much more heavier armor and stuff, and the other ones have decent armor. That was one thing I forgot to say. I did notice. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure I did notice a difference in the Titan health when I first started playing the multiplayer and after the official launch compared to the beta. And the beta Titans felt like freaking paper, dude. It was so pointless to get in a Titan because anybody could just kill it like right away. It was like, what? You know, seriously, I do really now because of I'm pretty sure they did some balancing with the health of the Titans, and with that change, the batteries are noticeably beneficial. They're nice to get, and that's something you see a lot in the campaign too. Getting the batteries. Although most of the health pickups in the campaign are something you just walk over as a Titan, but there are a couple times where you jump out and you just get used to it. But yeah, batteries they're pretty cool. It's pretty neat, especially if you're in your Titan and you kill a pilot, jump out, grab that battery, jump back in your Titan, you're good to go. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's a neat mechanic. I do heavily. Oh my gosh, I was playing. Like I said, I was just playing Titanfall 1 the other day or yesterday. I I like the new rodeo system in 2. I think it's interesting, it's neat, but I prefer 1's. I prefer standing, just sitting on top of a Titan until somebody either killed me or they used electric smoke. You know, the pilot jumps out of the Titan to get out and shoot at me while I'm on the back, whatever. There was plenty of easy ways to stop a pilot on a Titan, but I miss that. I miss the real. It feels like that's how I think of it now. I feel like the real rodeoing was in part 1. You know, part 2 is cool. I like pulling off the battery. I like throwing the grenade in, but I loved part 1's, man. You just sit up there and just just shooting at the Titan's, whatever the hell, the Titan's heart, I guess. I forget what they call it, but yeah, I don't know. I really like the rodeo in part 1. When I was playing part 1, man, I was just like, this is Titanfall, and I still feel like that. And there's plenty of things I like about 2. There is, but the map design really kills me. It's that forced lack of freedom, and you can see it too. It kind of made me think of this. I was thinking of this earlier. I was like, you know, it's so hard when you look at maps and you can watch gameplay and you can look at this and be like, how is this laned? You know, you're going up on roofs and all this stuff, but it is, the longer you play these maps, you will see exactly how things go wrong compared to part 1. You know, that's all. Compared to part 1. If you don't care, you didn't like part 1, you like these lanes, you like this kind of stuff, it'll be fine. Be like, damn, dude, this Mr. Maximus guy's a freaking idiot. I'm fine with that, man. I'm fine with that. I don't like it, alright? That's all. I'm not a big fan. Damn it, I had something in my head too, right when I was talking. Oh yeah, Infinite Warfare. It reminded me a little bit of Infinite Warfare, where I finally, did I play it? Yeah, I played the beta. They had an open beta. I got to play the open beta of Infinite Warfare. And when I was watching gameplay of it, the multiplayer on streams and stuff, you know, this was like early access to the YouTubers and Twitch streamers and all that. You know, I was watching some of the maps and I was like, these guys aren't wall running. But that was the same thing with Titanfall 1, where like when people were new to that game, they weren't wall running. They weren't doing parkour because it was new and different. But once everybody got used to, you see people, man, when people got, once, like a couple weeks, maybe a week or 2 weeks later, everybody was just on the walls everywhere in part 1, and I loved it. The first month, I was just like, blown away, man. It was awesome to see. So I was watching people play Infinite Warfare's beta, and I was like, look at all the potential, there's so much potential with all these walls. And then I went and played the beta, and I was like, never mind, it's pretty much a lot like Black Ops 3, where it's way too limited. So that I kind of think of Titanfall 2 the same way, not exactly the same way, because the parkour is still way better. I mean, parkour in Titanfall is still parkour, still really nice parkour, and plenty of it, you know. But it's just the way the maps are designed. They're limiting you as far as lanes and stuff, and yeah, just the design for the maps. I'm telling you, man, unless you've actually played a ton of part 1, you wouldn't really understand. So it's hard to. I guess I could, you know, if I was a crazy, well, not crazy, if I was an awesome, some of the words I use, I mean in a good way. If I was an awesome editing YouTuber guy, I could literally go in here, edit, and show you map to map, you know, the comparison differences between 1 and 2, and I wish I could do that. I wish I could. Maybe one day I will get into that. Maybe I will come back and be able to do that. But right now I can't. All I can say is, as a player, my thoughts on it, you know, and I do apologize that I can't do side by side. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. I don't hate Titanfall 2's multiplayer. I do think it sucks compared to 1's. And I won't get over that because I loved 1. You know, if I had never played part 1 and I played this game, I probably would think it's freaking epic as hell. I would probably love this game if I had never played part 1. But yeah, so it's not a bad game. It's just, I think I said everything I had to say. I probably made this video way too long. I wasn't planning to ramble so much, but I just wanted to talk about it, man. So if you happen to stick around with me for this long, yeah, my gosh, I don't know. Thank you very much for hanging out and chilling with me. Let me know what you think. If you enjoy Titanfall 2, awesome, man. Super cool. If you didn't enjoy Titanfall 1, you're crazy. You're out of your mind. You're bonkers. I'm just playing, sort of. Nah, you know, it's all preference and all that kind of stuff. But really, thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you next time. I'll see you whenever I get another video around. Alright. Have an awesome, epic, super crazy, awesome day. See, I just repeat I don't know. I don't have a big vocabulary. I could think of things, but I'm just saying it on the fly, and my words are awesome. That's like my... I miss using radical, though. Have a radical day, alright? Radical dudes. Radical. Bye-bye.